I interviewed a high-level compliance officer with one of the largest broker-dealers in North America. Their firm has over $100 billion in assets under management with several thousand advisors. And today I'm going to share with you the inside scoop of what this top compliance officer sees that helps some of the best financial advisors stand out from the crowd. It's time to get inside the compliance officer's mind. Hi, I'm John Cook. I'm the founder of Advisor Story, where we help financial advisors have greater confidence and clarity to talk about what they do in a remarkably different way. Because life is too short to sound like every other financial advisor. Over the past 5 years, I work with over 250 advisors and their teams one-on-one to develop their core message, grow their impact and income, and create a more meaningful future. So it's no secret that for many advisors, even the word compliance is enough to kind of elicit this eye roll or kind of an audible sigh, right? Compliance. And yet compliance officers, whether they're your in-house rep, an external auditor, or some other type of examiner, they have a unique perspective that's grossly under-leveraged in the advisory space. That's why I went straight to the source as part of my Inside the Compliance Officer's Mind interview series. Now, on the condition of anonymity, we're doing a series of interviews with top compliance officers at some of the largest wealth management firms, broker-dealers, and other advisory organizations. Now, their rank and roles, those vary, but generally speaking, they're at least mid-level to C-suite compliance officers with responsibilities overseeing at least several hundred advisors and their teams. So yesterday, I spoke with a top compliance officer based in the Eastern Time Zone of the United States. Their team is responsible for regulatory oversight and support for well over 1,000 advisor offices. Now, this officer personally visits between 10 to 15 different advisory offices every month across their area. So here are 4 key takeaways and quotes from our conversation. The first takeaway: every interaction with compliance is about perspective, not problems. And one of the first questions I ask in this interview series is, what does this compliance officer truly wish more advisors knew about their work? Now, the officer responded that they wish every advisor who connected with them about the regulator or about any type of regulatory or compliance specific incident would see that moment as a learning opportunity. Now, that's not necessarily groundbreaking in that type of observation, but it's frustrating to them. They expressed to me how frustrated they are when they see advisors or support staff kind of see them showing up as like a problem or as like a necessary evil or even an inconvenience. This compliance officer shared that it's often not the advisor or the support staff's fault when a problem arises. Maybe they were never told about a compliance rep. Maybe they misunderstood what was needed from their compliance department, or maybe the expectation was vague or incomplete. But every conversation or meeting with your compliance rep is an opportunity to ask questions, to get their outside perspective and mine from their experience. Because you see 1, maybe 2 advisory businesses every month. They see 10 to 15 every month in different areas from different types of business, different type of specialties and expertise. They can share a perspective to help guide your business to avoid those problems, help your clients better, and get ahead of that learning curve. Now, the second observation that this officer wanted to share with me is that top advisors invest in their teams. And one of the first questions in the series is also about what are the characteristics, the habits, the qualities that this compliance officer sees in top advisors that helps those advisors stand out from the rest of the crowd. The most productive, impactful advisors that they see are the ones who invest in building a team, but not necessarily other advisors, but non-licensed support staff. That might be one of the fastest ways to grow your advisory business, is by investing in a good team who is not necessarily other advisors, but non-licensed support staff. In their words, this exact quote, they said, the ones that I found who are the most compliant and really good at what they do, really take care of their clients well, they prioritize hiring a staff of non-licensed administrators first. This allows an advisor to concentrate on key conversations with clients and prospects, and that allows somebody else to take charge of the account details in a compliant manner. And they went on to say, they said, I'm not saying that you have to have a non-licensed support staff to grow your advisor business. What I am saying is that having a good support staff allows you to focus more on your clients while someone you trust can do the necessary paperwork. You're licensed, prepared to do what you're doing, and you trust your staff to be a second set of eyes for you. It doesn't mean you have to have another advisor, but maybe having somebody that you trust to go through the paperwork with you. Another observation that they shared was, think of your client notes like a medical chart. How can you ensure the best continuation of care? So I asked this compliance officer, what is an underappreciated kind of a value add for advisors that benefits everyone, from the advisor to the client, the compliance officer, the regulator, everybody involved? They told me, they said that they were just on a Zoom call that was set up for OSJs, and one of the key details that they spent a good portion of the call on was the quality of note-taking by advisors. Now, there's a big difference between simply writing down a date and a time that you talked to this client compared to writing in detail that you reviewed their goals, their risk tolerance, you made detailed recommendations, and you documented the journey, not just for the client, but for you as an advisor to look back at that and say, I want to see how I've grown as an advisor to continue improving the care for my current and future clients. And also, in case anybody makes a complaint, regulators will be able to see your notes, of course, and back up what you claim versus what a client may be claiming. Now, this may seem like a basic concept in your advisory business that, and hopefully you already do take good notes, but it was what this officer said next that stood out to me. They said, think about your client notes like a medical chart. Just like you hope your doctor keeps good records of your medical history, your financial history is just as important. If you have a lot of clients, you want to know exactly what you said during your previous conversations. So how else can you have a truly reliable continuation of financial care? You wouldn't want your doctor to just go off of memory to fill in incomplete notes, so don't take that risk with your own notes. Another observation is that they said that your compliance rep is an asset, not your enemy. Now, multiple times through our conversation, the compliance officer mentioned that they wished more advisors realize that their compliance rep is an asset, not an enemy. And they told me these exact words, said, we're here to help you provide reliable, reasonable guidance that can help more people. What we see and experience every day can help so many more advisors if they would just ask us more questions. Now, during our interview, we talked about this idea of bold compliance. It's a principle that we champion here with Advisor Story, that advisors can keep a foot firmly planted in compliance while also taking intentional, reasonable steps to stretch how they talk about their business in a fresh, bold, exciting way. So I asked this officer, I said, for an advisor who wants to have a more proactive conversation with their compliance rep, if you were to be in the advisor's shoes, how would you want them to invite you into that conversation? And this officer told me that if they were an advisor, they would tell their compliance rep, I know this business has a lot of regulations. What are the regulations where you see the most issues so I can concentrate on those first? You see, that simple framing, it invites your compliance rep to share their experience while creating a true win-win for the advisor and the compliance rep. Both of you will be more fulfilled, less frustrated, and more empowered to do work that you actually enjoy because it leverages your compliance rep's role as an asset instead of treating them as a problem or an obstacle to overcome. So I know I mentioned this on the call with the compliance officer, but I want to say thank you again so much for your time and your perspective. I truly appreciate what you do for our industry. If you're an advisor and you like what I shared today, please give this a thumbs up, share your 2 cents in the comment section below, hit subscribe to catch more of my videos about how to have a clear, meaningful message that shows that you're remarkably different, because life is too short to sound like every other financial advisor. Now, where I see a lot of advisors get stuck is not knowing how to talk about what you do. But after working with that many advisors and their teams, I discovered that there are 3 types of stories that great advisors tell that creates a more powerful connection with the right kind of investor clients that you know you can serve. I even created a video about what those 3 stories are, so hit play on this next video and I'll see you there.